You're cutting off the pleasure part of the penis.
Brother, we're here in Pittsburgh. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and we're right at the college campus. Not a lot of traffic right now, but between classes, it's just a flood of students. They've been really supportive, and some people have said, none of my friends support this. Some people have gone back to their dorms, gotten cameras, gotten friends, and the media's been out, the student media. We've got people standing with signs, taking photos. Great day here in Pittsburgh.
Thank you, Pete.
Come out and join us.
Bloodstained Men live here, ladies and gentlemen.
Babies and call it hygiene. Your babies are going to be born totally perfect. Don't let a doctor scam you into thinking your son's born with a defective penis. Only in the United States are doctors charging parents $500 to skin babies' penises and pretending it's medicine. That's a medical fraud. It's $1 billion industry in the United States.
That's great. We have people that do that too. We have people that are involved in animal rights, people involved in environmentalism.
Children from genital mutilation. Baby boys are born perfect, just like baby girls. Boys deserve human rights.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're back here live with you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, University of Pittsburgh.
Don't let a doctor skin your baby's penis. That's crazy. They're skinning the whole penis. They're not just snipping a tip. They're skinning the whole penis of our baby.
We missed you yesterday from the front lines because Facebook was off on that glitch yesterday. But we are back live here today, ladies and gentlemen, at the University of Pennsylvania of Pittsburgh on the Pennsylvania Circumcision Crisis protest. It's just been an amazing day. It's just been hundreds and hundreds, thousands of students going past this intersection. We've handed out thousands of info cards. I've talked to all the intactivists out here. We've had about 20 intactivists out here, ladies and gentlemen, and just a remarkable turnout. We have a trucker, ladies and gentlemen, who's actually joined us today. Cody, you're a longtime intactivist, but this is your first protest with Bloodstained Men.
Yes, it is, Brother Keay, and I'm honored to finally be on the front lines with you, the general of intactivism, the president of intactivism, the way I consider it.
Well, thanks for the kind words, but and I appreciate it. But you know, it is all the men and women and children of intactivism that make these protests happen. Cody, you have an interesting story. You actually were not able to plan because of your trucking schedule. You were actually not able to plan being here, but fortuitously your trucking schedule brought you into Ohio, and you parked your truck at a truck stop and you rented a car and you're here.
Yes, sir. I saw that the Bloodstained Men were in Pittsburgh and I said, wow, I'm only an hour away. I can't forgive myself if I go to my grave and not get in that rental car and come down here and get on the front lines. It's only an hour away.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the commitment of an intactivist. Thank you, Cody. And you told me that you if your trucking schedule works out for the next week, you just may join us again on the front line.
Oh, absolutely. If I'm around, I will be here, Brother Keay.
And ladies and gentlemen, we would talk to Cody longer, but he actually has to go back to his truck and get back on schedule. Thank you, Cody. Thank you for taking part of your day to join Bloodstained Men here on the front lines of the struggle for human rights for American men.
We're going to end this. In our lifetime, we are going to stop this, people. Get out here with us. Join the Bloodstained Men. Donate to the Bloodstained Men. We're the only front out here. God bless Brother Keay.
Thank you, Cody.
Yes.
Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for supporting Bloodstained Men.
Yes.
Luke Artanis, a remarkable day here at the University of Pittsburgh. It's just been exhilarating to see all these students, how receptive so many of them have been.
Yeah, it's been epic. We've gotten so much support here and curiosity and just learning from,
people asking good questions and being receptive.
Yeah, I spoke to one Jewish man for about 15 minutes, and he started off saying that he doesn't notice any difference, he doesn't see the harm, and he was respectful and curious and patient the whole time, and he listened, and at the end of the conversation he said, there's no way I'm going to cut my son. I'm going to keep... Yeah.
Wonderful. Changing minds right here on the front lines.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Luke Artanis. David Atkinson. This has just been one of our banner days with Bloodstained Men here on the front lines.
Yeah, I was afraid it might not be so good because it's only a one-way street, and I thought we could have a better, busier intersection, but actually it's been fantastic. Once we arrived, it's been like non-stop students walking around and having good conversations, and there's a lot of vehicle traffic here too. So it's been a very good day, and I'm happy that we're here today on this day during our tour.
I believe this is day 7.
It probably is.
But and you also talked to some student media.
Yes, 2 guys with suits came out and they recorded with their iPhones. They asked me some questions and I told them some information. And they also talked to a couple of other intactivists, and I don't know what type of video they will produce, but it will be interesting to see.
Thank you, David Atkinson, CEO, planner, and co-director of Bloodstained Men. Thank you, David Atkinson. We will talk to you again tomorrow in Altoona.
You're very welcome. See you there.
And ladies and gentlemen, I will walk around and we'll talk to more of the men and women who have joined us here on the front lines in Pittsburgh today at the University of Pittsburgh. And actually, it says right here, founded in 1787. Amazing. How's it feel, Stephen? How's it feel to be standing here at the University of Pittsburgh?
Feels good.
Thousands of people.
We have a lot of positive results, especially from young people. So that's very encouraging. That's what we want. We're going to change the next generation and hopefully put an end to this for good.
And Stephen, you drove 5 or 6 hours over from Indiana this morning to join us.
Yep.
And you will be touring with the Bloodstained Men for about the next week.
Yep.
Awesome. So we will talk to you again tomorrow from Altoona.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for joining us. And Stephen with a powerful message on his t-shirt. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
I will cross the street and talk to more of our road crew and the locals who have come out to join us. I believe we're between classes right now, ladies and gentlemen. There have been just droves of students, droves. And as the afternoon has progressed, the students, there's less pedestrian traffic from the students. You can see the vehicle traffic continues strong. And we have had about 20 intactivists out here today, ladies and gentlemen. They have handed out thousands of info cards. And looks like we have some...
taking my group to get a photo.
So this is interesting. You've got a group of people. David Wilson, tell me what's going on here. Some of the students have been asking to carry your signs around campus. Is that what you're doing now again?
That's what we're doing.
What's your name, sir?
Jimmy.
Jeremy. And
Jimmy.
have you carried one of these signs around the campus so far?
I just got it right
We
now.
just got here. We're going for
So you all heard about it?
Over there.
We're going
Well,
for
okay. We'll follow along. I'll be back here. So this is another thing that is really amazing. David Wilson brought a stack of signs. David Wilson, while we're waiting for the light to change, you've had a number of students have come and taken your signs and they're carrying around campus and then they're coming back here and reporting to you.
Well, 2 of them have, and one guy made it back already. The other one is still walking around. But these guys came up and I started talking to them, and they wanted to know if it would be okay to get a photo with the big sign, and I said, let's go.
Amazing. This is great. We're going to follow along and watch.
You want me to come talk about it?
Christina Love, it's been an amazing day here at University of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
We're going to follow along. David Wilson has a crew of students that want to carry around the signs. They're going to walk off.
Are we going with them?
Yeah, let's go with them. So it's been amazing, ladies and gentlemen. These students coming by, David Wilson drove up from Florida and he brought a whole stack of signs. And students are coming and asking if they can carry them around campus, and they're now getting in a photo. So we're here live on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. University of Pittsburgh students joining Bloodstained Men for this photo. They want the photo with our signs.
I did. Oh, take another one so you get my caveman in.
Yes. Okay. I got it. Press the word. Say the word. Thank you, guys.
There we go. Oh, I'll take that too.
Yeah, you got to sign
All
that.
right, share
Hey, did I give you one of the blue?
Thank you all.
Keep
Thank
up
you all
the
for
good
your
work,
support.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you for your
I
support.
got to get the class.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
University of Pittsburgh
Hey, I'll take the
students
sign.
supporting Pittsburgh. Supporting
Educational
Bloodstained
minds. I
Men.
love it. Thank you for
Okay,
inquiring.
man.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks.
And David Wilson, we've had students try to steal our signs in the past, but so when earlier today, when students asked to borrow your signs, were you wondering if they were going to steal them, or?
Yeah, but I had his phone number, and I told him I'll make a sign for him and ship it to him. So he brought it back.
He brought it back, and did he give you a report? How was the
No,
response?
he was in a hurry getting back to class and stuff.
But he
and
carried
so-
your sign around campus for about an hour.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah, it was cool. And the tall guy with the hat there, he's Jewish. And his parents didn't cut him. And here I am
An
going...
attacked Jewish man.
Yeah, and here I am going through my whole spiel, the sleeve and everything. He says, I'm intact, man. He says, my parents didn't have me cut.
Wow.
And he says, you're exactly right. And I said, I got my rap down, right? And he goes, yes. So it was good.
See.
It was good.
Amazing. Right. So you heard that right here live on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting story. Nick, thanks for being out here today. Longtime supporter and participant with Bloodstained Men. Nick, you have flown all over the country to protest with Bloodstained Men.
Yep, I wouldn't miss everywhere I can get, I try to make it.
Why is it that important to you, Nick?
Because everybody knows my story too. You know, I was mutilated at 18. I did not get informed consent.
Nick, there's a well-known video of you on YouTube. Tell our viewers how they can find that video of you on YouTube. The title of it is tell us.
Circumcised at 18. It's by Bonobo 3D. James Lowen interviewed me.
I was circumcised at 18.
Yeah, there's also another one. Patrick Smith interviewed me, and I think it's in the Justice for Men and Boys video server.
And basically, you were a young man of 18, and these doctors pulled a fast one on you.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't give me informed consent at all, and it ruined my life. Yeah, it did. I mean, there's no doubt. I know the difference. You know, I lost 90. I say it's like damages 90% at least. I mean, that's no exaggeration. I mean, it was a shock to my whole system because you know, it's such a, you know, America's dirty secret, and where do you go to help? You know, you can't.
No, there is no help.
No, I mean, and
except from other intactivists.
Right, and that's why a lot of people, you know, Alex Hardy, look up his story. He
committed suicide.
Yeah, he committed suicide. You know, I was, you know,
leaving his mom heartbroken.
Right. So I mean, but it affects people like that because, you know, they try to keep this in the closet, and, you know, when it happens, the victim of it is shocked, you know, and they have to deal with it and cope with it.
And most will not speak out.
No, because, you know, they're already, what male wants to admit to the world that their, you know, sexual organ is less than it should be? That's not going to happen.
Nick, there was nothing wrong with you when the doctor told you had to get circumcised.
No, not at all.
He just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was going to college before, you know, and I didn't know. I didn't know too much about it. This was before the internet. So, you know, you know, it was very, you know, you had to really look for it back then if you wanted the proper information. So, and I just went along with it. I didn't know too much about it. And it was devastating to have to go through it. Know that I went along with such medical fraud.
Lost 90% of your sensations.
For sure. That is not a exaggeration, and I will say that because it is
right. And other men have reported the same thing.
Right.
Thank you, Nick. I hope we see you again in Altoona tomorrow. I know you're going to try to make it. We'll talk to you more.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick Kusturis, ladies and gentlemen.
America, Europe, millions of men around the world are living their lives with fully functional genitals.
And you can see Dani Alexander on the megaphone.
Not hygiene.
I see Seth Edwards over here on the corner. Christina Love, we talked to her briefly in this live broadcast.
Our boys are born perfect, just like our girls. They're human rights too. All mammals have foreskin. It's called the clitoral hood in
And ladies and gentlemen, this is Ashley Hilliard, drove up from West Virginia. Ashley, end male genital mutilation. You've been handing out a lot of cards.
Yes, I have. I'm out.
You're out of cards?
I'm out of cards.
Well, here's a stack of cards.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. You
You're
and your mom
welcome.
drove over from West Virginia. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank your mom for us. She's down there. Can we introduce her? And what's your mom's name again?
Natalie.
Natalie, yeah.
Natalie. Hey.
Well, we won't.
I don't know if Evan will talk to you on live, but maybe.
I mean,
He's like 10 minutes into the cause.
yeah, 10 minutes in here.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot.
New recruit.
Can I turn the camera on you, or should I?
I don't care if you do.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Be gentle on him if he says
we have a
something
man
you've heard before.
new to antagonism, is what I'm being told.
New to antagonism. Well, maybe not
To
antagonism.
intactivism.
Oh,
Activism.
antagonism.
Yeah,
I'm familiar
I
with.
think some of our adversaries think we are antagonists.
I'm sure I could see that. Yeah.
So, Evan, what's your take on what you see so far out here?
I think it's a good cause. I think anybody from either side of the aisle could support it. I mean, you know, you've got a young baby that can't make their own choice, young males. You know, I'm uncircumcised. I still have my foreskin, and I've never had some of the issues. And it's something that, you know, men maybe are uncomfortable to share with each other.
Right, of course.
You know, like, hey, I have an uncomfortable penis or whatever. You know, that's not something that you hear, that I've never experienced, and I didn't know about that. So, you know, I just think my body, my choice. If you want to run with that, then you should be able to run with that to you know, young men or young babies that are born with their foreskin. They should be able to keep it, in my opinion. So I support the cause.
And that's straight from an intact man, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that you would view anyone as insane who told you to go in and get part of your sex organ.
I would never do that. Never do that. Intact. Yes, I'm intact.
It's
I like
bizarre.
that.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you for
Thank
that
you.
powerful statement.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, so there's Ashley Hilliard, who we just met, and her lovely mother, Natalie. Hi. And Natalie, thank you for joining us. You've been out here in the sun handing out information cards. I've seen you talking to a lot of passersby. They stop and they want to talk to you. I guess because you have that kind grandmotherly look about you. But you've been holding circumcision is barbaric, and that says it all.
Yes, it is.
Why should we have? Why do we have to convince people that cutting off part of a child's sex organ is barbaric?
I just don't understand why we would have to convince them. It's crazy.
It should be a
common sense. It's a no-brainer. Like she was saying earlier, hygiene is amputation is not hygiene.
Yes, amputation, not hygiene. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Ashley. And we have a... Ladies and gentlemen, as I've been doing this live broadcast, I recognized a new face, and I wanted to make sure it was okay with her to put her on the live broadcast. So you made your own sign, no more male genital mutilation, and you say you're Chris?
Yep.
Well, Chris, thank you for joining us here on the front lines at University of Pittsburgh. Tell me how you found out about this protest and why you're here.
I saw it on Facebook, actually, and I'm here because there's no excuse to be making medical decisions without someone's consent.
And do you have any personal stories of friends or anything interesting or what motivated you specifically on this issue?
Well, you know, a lot of my friends that are men are circumcised because it's been so normalized in our society. The big thing is I'm a nurse, I'm pro-choice. If it's my body, my choice for that, it's my body, my choice for this.
So you're a nurse?
I am.
Have you seen or heard of any of the horror stories of infant circumcision?
I've heard of them, I have not seen it myself. I work in the ER, so I don't deal too much with...
Now you say you've heard of them. Have you heard them firsthand or on social media?
On social media.
Okay, so you're not aware of anything in particular?
Not in my own personal life, no.
I see.
But I'm sure in my field it'll be inevitable that I'll see something. So if a man wants to do it, that's his decision, totally fine. But he should make that decision when he's an adult. We shouldn't be making those decisions for children.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for coming out. And do you have some info cards?
I would love to take one.
Let me see if I have some extra. I'll get you some. I'll get you some extras.
Okay.
Dani Alexander, do you have some info cards for Chris? And then I want to talk to you. This is Chris. She's a nurse and just joined us. So if you could give her some info cards.
Oh yeah, here.
She's an emergency room nurse. Thank you, Chris. Dani, come on out here. Let's get. I want to get the big sign in the background while I talk to you. Great, great. Dani Alexander. This is day 7.
Day 7
of 15. So we're almost at the halfway mark.
Yes.
Tell me your thoughts and feelings about the tour itself, and what about this remarkable day, Dani Alexander?
I love college campuses. That's a really special place to be able to leaflet and reach young, open minds. You know, we're just letting people know about a serious human rights issue that affects half of our population. Men need to know that they're missing a large amount of their penis and the functions because the doctors don't tell us. There's a lot of medical students here, and the ones who have come up and talked and kind of argued a little bit, I said, well, are the functions of foreskin even in your textbook? And they're like, no, good point. You know, so even in the medical field, they're not teaching the truth. They're not even teaching anatomy. And we're just here to educate in a learning environment. It's perfect.
And what response are you seeing?
Overwhelmingly amazing. It's been awesome. We've had so many people thank us for being here. Yeah. And lots of people just join our protests for as long as they can. It's been really cool. There's been people who have joined our protests for like 10, 15 minutes all day.
Yeah, it's been exhilarating and inspiring to be part of this. It has been. And even as I'm talking to you, it looks like more students are coming, so I guess
yeah, I'm gonna leaflet
classes again. Thank you, Dani Alexander. And ladies and gentlemen,
Brother Keay.
We're now going to talk to Seth Edwards. Seth Edwards, you have been out here all day. You're traveling with Bloodstained Men for the next several days.
Till tomorrow.
You'll be in Altoona with us tomorrow.
I think so, yeah.
And I know you went to some other areas of campus. What tell us about today?
So okay, Brother Keay, over here there's a giant hill. I guess they call it Cardiac Hill, and I went up and down Cardiac Hill a bunch, but the med students are up that way, and so I had a lot of conversations with some neuroscience majors. I think I had about 5 of them that I had long conversations with. I just walked with them until they were going to their next place. And basically what I was telling each of the neuro students was, this is a great research topic for your doctoral, your thesis statement or your thesis project to do on the neurological effects of circumcision on males. The last gentleman that I talked to, he was actually already predisposed to questioning circumcision. He'd never really vocalized it. He said it was just something he's thought about, but he's never really put words or pen to paper on it or anything. But I challenged him. I basically told each of them that, this is an opportunity for you guys because you each have 20, 30, 40 years of a career coming up where you can have a change that lasts generations after generations, long after you're gone. And very few people have that opportunity in their careers, but these guys are in a position with neuroscience that they can do these studies and they can look at the trauma that circumcision causes on babies. They can write the papers, they can do the research, and they can start to challenge American doctors that circumcision is harmless.
Did that thought intimidate them?
Yeah, no, they actually liked it. They actually agreed. There's that one neurological study that was done where they put the baby in the MRI and they used a ceramic knife and they looked at the brain as a baseline. They looked at the brain during circumcision. They looked at the brain, I think, at 2 months, 6 months, and a year maybe. And at each of the times afterwards, they saw certain areas of the brain were still heightened, and it had changed the way that the child had experienced pain.
And in some ways, it's ironic that we should even need science to prove what common sense tells us.
Yeah.
That when you subject a child to torture and genital torture and this unbelievable cruelty, that of course it would change the brain.
Yep. Well, and Brother Keay, I had a couple of people that used the science justifies it argument, and I told them that circumcision
it's an ethical issue. It's not a science issue. It's an ethical issue. And we can't answer ethical issues with science. Science can guide us, but we have to make ethical decisions based on ethical analysis. And it would be like using, the financial benefits of slavery to justify slavery. Using science to justify circumcision, it doesn't look at the ethical issues that are involved.
Good point.
So I challenged them with that, and they agreed with that. That yeah, you know, you're making a good point there. So I had one gentleman over there that he's like, oh man, I'm 60 years old. I ain't gonna have no more kids, and they don't affect me none. And I was like, well, let's talk about it. And so we started talking, and I made him laugh a couple times. I said, I'm gonna change your mind just with my jokes. And so I, you know, went at him with a couple different jokes and made some things here and there. Like, whose penis is it? Is it your penis or is it your mother's penis? You know, when you go on a date on Saturday night, are you calling your mom and be like, hey mom, I'm taking the penis out for the weekend? You know, he liked that and laughed. He's like, yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be my mom's choice. And so, you know, I told him at the end, I said, I don't necessarily want your position on, you know, you can be happy you're circumcised. I want your position to change on whether or not we can do this to other people, and whether or not it should be done to other children. And, you know, because you're going to have nieces and nephews and grandchildren. You're going to have other people you have influence over. And if I can change your mind to recognize that they have a right to their body, then, you know, you can have an impact, even though you don't have to change your position on how you feel about your own penis being circumcised. And so we walked away and he agreed. He took the info card. At first he didn't want it. I had a lot of people like that actually where, you know, they wouldn't take the info card, and I started walking with it. I challenge these students, you know, I've probably walked 10 miles so far, but I would challenge these students. I just walk behind them like, you are here paying for knowledge, paying for to be educated, and here you have something that you've never seen before, with information that you've never heard before, and you're not taking the opportunity to get it for free, but you will pay this university to educate you, and when you're done with your education here and a medical degree, you still won't know the functions of the foreskin. Like, you're overpaying for your degree and I'm offering it for free. And had a lot of good conversations, and I would turn people around to where, you know, at the end of the conversations, they, I don't know if we want to get it. At the end of the conversations, I would have them, you know, in agreement that, you know, wow, there are some things about this I hadn't thought of. There are some things I should do some research on. Also talked to Father Reed over at the Catholic Church. He thought that I shouldn't be doing this, that it's, you know, it's too, whatever you want to call it. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I told him it's street theater, it's for shock value. You have to shock people before you can start to really get to the point where, they're going to question their beliefs. And so he and I started talking, and he's like, you know, he's like, one of my friends actually did their theology dissertation. They did their dissertation on circumcision, and so he's like, I'm kind of familiar with it. It was his roommate, I think, in college. And so we talked in on the religious aspects of it and why it's a violation. We talked about the Catholic Catechism and what it says about circumcision, and that the violation of the body is against the moral law. And I told him, you know, we also talked about atheism and this and that, and I told him I don't want to make you an atheist at the end of the day, but I would like to get your position to where you realize circumcision is wrong and you speak out against it, because you have congregations, you have influence over people. You know, as soon as you can change an influence maker's mind and get them to be an influence maker for your position, it makes a lot less work. And you know, he told me that he had to go to mass for whatever their prayer thing was, and I said, well, you know, if you could send a little prayer up to God that he ends circumcision so I can quit working on this, that'd be great too.
Thank you, Seth Edwards. There you go. We're sending a little prayer up to God to end circumcision. And I don't, myself, I've posted it, I do not believe that anyone who claims that God told them to cut off part of the sexual organ of a healthy baby is not telling the truth. That is not correct. I do not believe that God would ever tell a human being to cut off part of the sexual organ of a newborn child. Thank you, Seth. We'll talk to you again tomorrow in Altoona. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Facebook.
Brother Keay, how you doing?
Can I introduce you?
Did you want to come?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, just checked with Greg Hartley.
Just arrived on scene here in Oakland, beautiful downtown Oakland.
With Intact America, Greg Hartley, pleased to...
Your whole baby, I brought my sign here to help educate people. In case anyone disputes the accuracy of why we're here, this is something that unfortunately...
Read that out loud here. As you can see on my screen, I'm having trouble seeing it with the glare of the screen.
This is from the college textbook Saladin 2017, Anatomy and Physiology, The Unity of Form and Function, 8th edition, that's important, McGraw-Hill. Circumcision thus removes the most sensitive part of the penis. I actually worked with McGraw-Hill and the author to get this in
Greg
the textbook.
Hartley, that is an interesting story. Tell us about that. You saw...
Well, I saw
when did you first see that they did not have accurate information?
In 2015, my son was at nursing school at Kent State University, and they used this textbook. It's a very popular textbook used in colleges and freshman anatomy and physiology. And I saw it, and it was just appalling how much was missing from anatomy and physiology textbook.
So that was in 2015?
Correct. And they showed a cut penis with no explanation, as if it were designed that way by nature. And there was no discussion of the prepuce, there was no discussion of circumcision. It was just, that's what a penis looks like. And so I said, I was appalled by that. And I said, this is just unsat. Regardless of one's opinions on genital cutting, circumcision, aka circumcision, you need to be operating with factual information, and it was just missing. So I worked with McGraw-Hill, great publisher, by the way.
You contacted them.
Correct. They put me in touch with...
What was the first...
Well, I told them that their information on male genital anatomy and physiology was very lacking. So I contacted McGraw-Hill. They put me in touch with the author, Ken Saladin. Very nice guy. We traded dozens of emails back and forth.
And where's he located?
He's in Georgia. I forget the college, but this book is fairly popular.
Okay.
He's written many books.
This is an interesting story.
Yeah, it is. And I was just persistent.
Was he resistant?
I wouldn't say resistant, but he wasn't excited about changing it until we exchanged a few emails. I sent him one of the most important pieces of documentation I sent was a Sorrel study from 2007, published in the British Journal of Urology. And as people around the world know, the world understands intact male anatomy, and they appreciate and understand the importance of it. In America, we have this inherent cultural bias that we either ignore it or downplay it or downright ostracize it.
I mean, it leaves your jaw gaping.
Well, no. To his credit, Ken Saladin, the author, I would say he was neutral to begin with. But when I sent him more and more information, not only the Sorrel study, that's the one I remember the most, but I sent him lots of documentation from British Journal of Urology, from other publications outside the United States, which actually have a more objective view of genital integrity and male anatomy. So he actually started working it in there, and that's almost a direct quote, not quite because it's his book, but it's paraphrasing what's in the Sorrel study, talking about how the prepuce is the most sensitive portion of the penis.
And isn't
it's got
that
by
also
far the most...
Where they make the comment about how the most sensitive part left on a circumcision is the scar.
Yes, right. He didn't go elaborate into that, but yes. I mean, the most sensitive part is removed. I don't know exactly what the numbers are. I think it's kind of hard to tell. But the vast majority, probably up to 80% of the sensory receptors are inside the inner layer of the prepuce.
Well, we interviewed Nick Kusturis on this live broadcast earlier, and he was an intact man until he was 18, and he told me, and I've heard this from other people. He said he lost 90%.
Well, I get reactions from people saying, well, I'm fine. And my response is, as far as you know, if you're cut as an infant, you simply don't know the difference. I mean, I didn't know the difference until I partially restored it, and I still don't have everything back. I just have coverage. I have a dekeratinized glands. The keratin layer is gradually sloughed off. But I don't have those sensory receptors back. I'll never get them back. And I've talked to other guys who were cut as adults, and they said, well, sex used to be like a 3D high-definition color TV. Now it's like a 1950s black and white.
Wow.
Or it's like trying to read Braille with your elbows.
Yeah.
You simply don't have the sensory receptors, the specialized sensory receptors you were born with and are entitled to. You don't have them. They're taken away from you, and you don't function the way you do. Unfortunately, it's a hard mental leap for people to say, well, there's something wrong with me. It's hard psychologically.
It's hard on a man.
And they don't know the difference because, like I said, if you're cut as an infant, you simply don't know the difference.
And that 10% of pleasure that you have left is still pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah. But, that's like saying, you can break a couple fingers because you'll still have 8 left. That's just not,
And in the beginning, those old black and white, I saw the old, we had, my family in the 1950s, we had one of those old black and white. I mean, it was adequate.
I bet most of America wouldn't go back to an old 19-inch or 12-inch black and white TV. And that's just it. I mean, circumcision does, objectively, regardless of one's opinion on it, you have to deal with the facts. And the facts are it removes the majority of specialized sensory receptors. In fact, it removes all the Meissner's corpuscles. What you have left with in the penile glands are Pacinian corpuscles, which are pain and pressure sensors. You don't have the fine touch receptors, which are found only in the tips of your fingertips, soles of your feet, and the inner layer of your prepuce or foreskin, regardless of whether you're male or female. You still have sensitive sensory receptors there. And that's the thing, why we're here demonstrating, is to tell people this is wrong. It is wrong to take this away from a man looks like an infant when it's born, and it is an infant, but he will be a man. It is unethical to take specialized sensory receptors, sexually functional erogenous tissue, and protective tissue away from a man. And, you know, circumcision results in meatitis, which is the inflammation of the meatus. It's almost unheard of in intact men. It affects upwards of 10 to 20% to varying degrees of circumcised men. And it's inflammation. Jimmy Kimmel famously had it. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
So it's, you know, genital cutting causes problems, and it doesn't fix any of the problems that it purports to fix. It claims that it reduces UTI. Well, if you look at the facts, 1% of intact males get a UTI in their first year of life versus 3% of intact females. Should we consider cutting off their clitoral? Of course we should. You don't cut off healthy functional tissue to treat something prophylactically that you could treat successfully with antibiotics and other things. So it's just, all the rationalizations are culturally biased. They're here to justify a procedure that unfortunately we are just
Let's cut to the chase. They're fake.
They're fake.
They invented them after the fact.
They did, yes. And they're just culturally biased rationalizations to continue a practice that people don't want to confront. They don't want to confront it because...
A practice that was designed to injure male sexuality.
Absolutely. And that's a lot of things people don't realize, is that the origins of non-ritual male genital cutting was to curb masturbation, which at the time, the late 1800s, was thought to cause hip joint problems, paralysis, all manner of disease. And this is not fringe. This was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. It was a mainstream belief at the time. Eventually, physicians realized that was nonsense, but they created other rationalizations for this practice because they just wanted it to continue. So,
Greg Hartley, lean forward just a little bit. I'm going to show your hat. Got foreskin. I'm glad you can. Thank you, Greg Hartley.
All right.
Thank you for joining us here on the front line.
Thank you for setting us up, Brother Keay.
Yes, and thank you for working to get that textbook changed. You can see I'm having trouble even seeing the screen.
Maybe I can block the sun. Yeah. So how about this? How about if I turn it over here? Is that better?
Yeah, well, the glare out here is such that I'm no, that's good. It's our viewers are seeing it. What I'm having trouble is just visually seeing the screen. But we got it, Greg Hartley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here. And Kat Franklin, welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. It's just been it's been an amazing day, Kat Franklin.
Yes.
All day long, students just open-minded. We have seen not much hostility today at all. It's just been an amazing day.
This has been the most positive day of the tour so far. These people have open minds and want to learn, want to be educated. We couldn't have picked a better spot.
We couldn't have picked a better spot, and you can see our very, very effective large banner out there. So this is, we roughly calculate, I believe it's day 7. We lost a day when Facebook was down, but today is day 7 of this tour, isn't it?
Day 7.
So we'll be in Altoona tomorrow, and you told me this morning at breakfast you got your best sleep yet.
I did. I was pumped and ready for today. I love going to colleges because the kids have open minds. They're there to learn. So even if they're upset at first, they want to know more. It's great. And I haven't been met with any resistance, really. Everybody's been really positive and asking questions. I've given out the big pamphlets with all the info.
And you've got your eloquently stated T-shirt on.
Thank you.
And I've seen you in the hotel lobbies with that shirt on, and it's inspired quite a few conversations in our hotel lobbies, hasn't it?
It has. I actually stopped a woman from cutting her child a few days ago in a hotel lobby, just from intactivating and speaking to her. She had cut her 2 prior sons and was pregnant, and said after speaking to me, she wouldn't be cutting this baby.
Thank you, Kat Franklin. We will talk to you again tomorrow in Altoona, Pennsylvania, day 8 tomorrow.
Thank you. See you then.
Nobody wants less penis.
Awesome.
Yes,
you want to introduce yourselves? We're live on Facebook.
I'm Paul Karpuzis, and I don't want less penis, and I know you don't want less penis.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for sharing that. And you're a student here at University. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. 2 college students coming by here, and this is what we've been doing all day long. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. And
a picture with the sign.
Yeah. So this is how it's been going all day long.
Brother Keay, we have a man who brought sources of why circumcision is necessary and why it's good.
No, don't do that. That's not what I said. What I said.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead. You say it.
All right. So what I did was, are you recording this? So we get one with you.
And here we go. We're getting this. So here are the 2 university students. They want to be They want a photograph with our signs, and this has been happening all day long, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, that was just. People here are so smart and open-minded and want to.
Slide over just a little. And ladies and gentlemen, if I'm not framing the video correctly, I'm having a squint, and it's just the day is so bright out here. I'm actually having trouble seeing my screen to frame this. But I think I've got it now. I'm squinting with one eye to see this screen. I can barely see it. Thank you for your support, and you got our cards.
Get back there, and I'll take one more for us. Here, go ahead. Hold your sign there.
One sec. How about we all talk one at a time instead of having groups talk at one person?
All right. All right, man. Thank you, guys.
You guys are awesome.
But if it does, okay? 1% of intact male infants get a UTI in the first year of life. 3% of intact females get a UTI in the first year of life. Should we research cutting off their prepuce to protect UTIs? Should we? And number two, antibiotics protect or cure UTIs with great success.
And yes, I didn't say they didn't.
The infections are caused from forced retraction.
Yes,
Foreskin does not retract on its own until almost puberty sometimes.
From what I understand, circumcision is permanent. So when you get circumcised as a baby, you're going to still be circumcised 20 years later when you're at a higher risk for UTIs.
That study only affects infant UTIs.
There were only
for the UTI studies. There were two studies.
Please don't talk over me. I was talking.
Okay, there are two studies I know. One was a study in infants that said it reduced the chance by less than like 0.2%. Yes. Or 0.02%. And there was another study done.
So what's happening there, ladies and gentlemen, is a college student looks like he did some quick internet searching, and he found some of the pro-circumcision articles, and he scrawled out some notes. And I hate to say he's making a fool out of himself, but he is. He's quoting discredited pro-circumcision material from the Australian lunatic that I won't even name the guy, but you know who I'm talking about. And there's more students wanting to.
Yeah, we're gonna take you like 25 minutes. I'll stay in the whole one. You're so welcome. Thank you. Y'all were born totally perfect.
Like you guys.
You're fine.
Like HIV, there's a study, you can check it out, a medical study up in Canada, Ontario, that said that doesn't apply to the West at all. There's African studies.
Oh yeah.
They surveyed 500,000.
We've had people join us all day.
This has been going on all day long, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been great. We probably had like at least 15 students come join our protest today at least.
Retraction, which is something that's for some reason still advised in some of this country, where hospitals, some people will tell parents to retract, to pull back the foreskin. It's attached, almost like a fingernail.
I'm not saying that that's your argument.
No, I know, but sometimes they'll retract it, and that can cause all kinds of problems.
But you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to get into the middle and interrupt these conversations, but you can see that the word has gotten around that we're out here, and there are now a lot of students stopping and talking to the protesters here. We still have our big sign across the street.
Baby boys.
And I see it's 20 to 3. And, just amazing. Just an amazing day here, ladies and gentlemen, at the University of Pittsburgh. Now my screen just suddenly I'm borrowing PK's phone, and my screen just suddenly got bright. I'm not sure why.
Boys deserve human rights too.
Now I can see it.
Is that true?
Hello, Matt. There's Matt Keniston, who joined us, I believe, in Erie the other day. Matt, welcome to the live broadcast. Wendy, hello.
You can look it up. No. John Harvey Kellogg. You can look it up. It's common knowledge.
3 feet of blood vessels. How many feet of blood vessels are there in a body?
They cut off 20,000
How many nerve endings?
Listen, should you lose any blood vessels or nerve endings?
Yeah.
No.
How many do you have?
Greg Hartley?
Yes.
Can you briefly summarize what you feel this young man is going through?
This young man here is going through rationalization, justification, and trying to assure himself that his cut status is okay. Because to do otherwise is a psychological hurdle that I had to go through myself. But it wasn't that hard. I'm an engineer. I have a questioning attitude. I look at facts, I look at evidence, and I make a good decision. I also understand the cultural biases present in the U.S. and several other countries that allows this practice to continue. Countries that look at this objectively do not cut their infants, simply put.
I never have.
I never have. That's
Thank
right.
you, Greg Hartley.
Hey, is there water around here?
Yeah, we got a whole case. Help yourself. Right there. Right there. Help yourself. Brand new case. And you can see Dani Alexander is now engaged. This is it's just going to go on and on like this, ladies and gentlemen. We could be out on this corner until 6 o'clock doing this all day long.
Can I pass the card? I mean, I know you know this. He says he's pretty much on our side, but he's playing devil's advocate, so
that's always good. But here, take a look at this.
I think it should be choice. I don't know enough about it.
Choice of the person that owns the place. Yes.
Sure, but if there's other indications for doing it, I'm sure that there are.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's my live broadcast here from Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh. Here, day 7 of the Pennsylvania Circumcision Crisis protest. Thank you for joining me. I will be back tomorrow from Altoona, Pennsylvania. This is just a labor of love, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to Bloodstained Men and Their Friends, the Facebook page. There's a fundraiser tab. My birthday is this month in about under 3 weeks, and I am raising funds to pay for our travel expenses on this tour. Your $5 donation or more, whatever you can afford, will help Bloodstained Men pay for this tour. And none of us, including me, none of us get paid at all in any way. No salary. This is a labor of love for all of us out here, ladies and gentlemen, because we are doing for the next generation of American men what we wish someone had done for us. All American citizens should be protected from genital mutilation, and we will not rest. We will not give up. We will not surrender. We will make it happen. Someday, all children will be protected from genital mutilation in the United States. It is an abomination that it's not that way yet, but it will happen. Intactivism is an optimistic movement. The other side is all pessimism and gloom and based on fear and scare tactics. So share this message with your friends, your neighbors, your relatives. Intactivate anywhere, anytime you can. And I will see you tomorrow from Altoona, Pennsylvania. Or go on bloodstainedmen.com and there's a donate button there. We can only do this because of your support. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. See you tomorrow.
Student here requested about being
I just know it based on how they talk to me.